Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and welcome back. Today we have another build video, finally, and I think you guys are going to like this one because, as I'm sure you could see from those opening clips, this build hits very hard. It is a damage and crit focused rifle build, and it is a lot of fun and very potent for taking down teams of rogues. So let's get right into it, shall we? So first off, of course, we have the sharpshooter specialization. That is so I'm getting those rifle focused perks, got the extra headshot damage and all that, and the stability helps out. And so that is what I'm using there. And then my primary is a classic M1A. As I'm sure you know, this is one of the best rifles there is right now. And so I have Ranger on it. Some people like to do Rifleman. That is definitely a good one, or Boomerang, but I like Ranger in this case just to get that extra raw damage, which is what I like my builds to focus on. I don't like to have a lot of mechanics in my builds. I just like it to be good at what it is, and this is very good at damage and crits, so that's good. So then I also have Optimized and Overlap. Maybe not the best perks, but this has a lot of base damage and Ranger, so I'm happy with that. Then I have 5% crit chance, plus 5 rounds, and plus 5% crit damage for the mods. You can switch those up if you want. You don't really need handling mods because this thing handles pretty well, so the extra crit is nice because, as you'll see in a sec, there's a lot of crit going into this gun. My secondary is the Ruthless or Merciless, and that is just for this holster talent, which gives you that extra 5% chance to deal a lot of explosive damage. And then for my pistol, I'm just running this to get Protected Reload because that is a nice perk to have regardless of what build you're talking about. Let's go back to the M1A here and then look at these stats. And you will see I have 52.5 crit chance and 77% crit damage. And that is quite a lot. 85% headshot damage too. And this amount of crit just makes it so I can take people down super fast. And what you can switch up on this, I have surgical on here and I don't have critical. So you could get even a higher crit damage if you wanted to sacrifice some crit chance. It's really up to you how you want to focus your crit when you're doing this. So just to go over an overview quick, I have 249.6 armor. Obviously pretty low. And you could get that a bit higher if you wanted to sacrifice in some other places, but I think this is really just focused on damage, so I don't mind it being that low. And then my skill power is 920 and 999 for the two skills, but you'll see that when we get down there. So let's go into the gear. First off, we have the Night Watcher to get perfect spotter, so 1-piece Gila, 5% total armor. My rolls on here are 8% crit chance and 146 skill power. And then the mod, I just have a Pulse and Chem Launcher mod, and you need to have 5 electronics if you're going to run it with spotter like I do. You need to have 5 electronics to get that. And obviously not a lot of people I would think are going to run spotter with this type of build, but I like being able to throw the pulse out and be able to see where they are and get that nice boost of extra damage. So it's a pretty fun way to run it. I would suggest trying it out and seeing for yourself. So then moving on to the chest piece, we have one piece Araldi to get the 10% accuracy. Not the best bonus because, you know, the rifle's already pretty good on its own, but you get perfect vigilance, which is plus 30% weapon damage, and then taking damage disables it for 4 seconds. I'm sure you guys know what that does. So that's very nice to have, gives you a lot of extra damage, and since you're staying back and shooting from afar, you will not take a ton of damage, so that's up a lot of the time. I have some nice rolls on here, 13% weapon damage and 19.5 crit chance, definitely helps boost that crit up. And then the two mods I have are a 6% rifle damage mod and a armor and total armor blue mod. So moving on to the holster, this is one of my 2 DNH pieces, so I'm getting the 10% crit damage there, very helpful. And I have 14.5 crit damage rolled, which is quite a high roll, and then surgical like I was saying before. And then I just have another yellow mod to get those 5 electronics for spotter. Moving on to the backpack, 1-piece Wyvern to get the 7% crit damage. You could swap this out if you wanted, I don't know, Providence for extra skill power. It's really up to you. I just wanted a bit more crit damage since I don't have critical, so I chose to put that there. 23% skill haste, 9% weapon damage, and 16,000 armor with vital and hardened. Pretty nice rolls there. And then another yellow mod to go towards spotter. And then here I have 1-piece Overlord, of course, to get the rifle damage. You could definitely do 2-piece Overlord if you want to get a bit more armor with that 7.5. It's a nice brand roll there, but I just have 1. And then I have 9% rifle damage, 3.5 crit chance, and devastating, of course. That is where a lot of my damage is coming from, is from those gloves. And then, like I was saying, my second piece of DNH with 6.5 crit chance on here, just boosting that up a bit, and hard hitting. I still need to roll this. You could definitely roll that to get Surge or something to help out your skills a bit, but hard hitting isn't too bad either for the Dark Zone. And then let's go on to these skills. So I'm using the Restore Hive. You can really use whatever you want here, because this is really just to get a little bit of healing, but you could run, I don't know, a Blinding Firefly. You could really do whatever you want. I'm just choosing to do this to get a little bit of healing. And then in this one, this is where I have the Pulse, and I'm choosing to use the Remote Pulse, which I hadn't used before trying this build out, but it's not that bad. It's actually pretty helpful. Just to be able to throw it up, and it stays a long time. You can see the duration is 2 minutes, and it just keeps constantly pulsing so you can see where those guys are and you keep getting those spotter marks. So it's very nice to have, and I definitely recommend the remote over the one-time use one. Okay guys, well that is the build. It's not too hard to understand, but once you start getting these pieces together, I think you'll see just how potent this thing is. Like I said, it's very good at being able to clear out a team of manhunts who are locking a checkpoint down. Just find a good vantage point, start shooting, and you'll be dropping them very quickly. Alright, I've got some more gameplay so you guys can get an idea of just how strong this thing is, so stick around and enjoy that. If you guys like this video and the build, be sure to drop a like and leave any questions or thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you're updated every time I upload. And until the next one, guys, RogueGold, out.